feel so alone.
Not alone. I'm here.
Honestly, the reason
Effie's a character who's no stranger to drama, and in season 2 of Ghost, her character was conflicted. She was a support system to Tariq while he was arrested, but in this game, you have to keep your friends close and enemies closer. And if Effie's proved one thing, she can't exactly be trusted, although Tariq has no choice because there aren't many people left in his life who he can trust.
other than my mom, you're the only person I can trust at all.
For much of Power and Go Season 1, Tariq had the support system of his mom Tariq St Patrick, but in Season 2, that began to fade, and he was somewhat isolated, which is why he had no choice but to lean on Brayden and Effie. But Season 3 is going to be where he's completely isolated, with no Tasha, and learning about the betrayal from those close to him. And to quote the official synopsis, business is booming, when a staggering reveal forces Tariq to reckon with the betrayal from those closest to him, and a RICO investigation mounting into the entire drug enterprise pulls Tariq deeper into the business, and even closer to the legacy of his father. And this is where Effie comes in. She's a character who's falling in love with Tariq, but also looks out for number one, herself. So in the rest of this video, we're going to be dissecting the moves that Effie has made in the past, and how it's defined her character based on evidence, facts, and findings. So I'm going to be breaking down the rest of this video into Effie's backstory, Effie's relationship with Tariq and the complexity, and thirdly, whether or not Effie will survive and why she's in danger in Power Book 2 Ghost Season 3. Effie Morales, a Yale student no stranger to drama, and her quest for financial freedom via drug dealings leads her to big competition, her former choke classmates, Tariq and Brayden. But when Effie decides to join forces with Tariq and Brayden, she will be forced to determine where her loyalties lie, with herself and only herself, or with the people who have shown their true colors time and time again. So as always, I do think it's important to remind ourselves and understand the backstory of Effie, because not only will it set the foundation, you're going to realize why her past will define her future. But within her backstory, we can even break this down further into three key elements: Effie's parents and her drunk mother. And let's not forget, the question that everybody wants the answer to: who was she working for?
Ever since my brother died, my mom is sober like 2 hours in the morning when she wakes up. Rest of the day is a fucking shit show.
Now in Power, Effie gave us some key details in regards to her backstory, and her relationship with her parents along with the death of her brother go hand in hand. These were two characters who had to deal with a lot of crazy situations going on at home at the same time. They had the complex relationships with their parents, and they also both lost a sibling. It's why they understand each other and why they were there for each other. But Effie reveals that ever since her brother died, her mom's been sober for like 2 hours in the morning when she wakes up, and then you can forget about the rest of the day. And it stems from her brother being killed in a robbery gone wrong. So just to add to this is what Courtney Kemp had to say in an Instagram live in regards to Effie's parents. Effie's mom is a mess, and if you guys remember, close readers of the series, Effie's brother is dead. He was murdered, so keep that in mind. Now there are a few things to consider when it comes to Effie's brother, and similar can be said about Raina and Tariq's relationship. Losing a sibling can be extremely difficult. The bond between siblings is often strong, and the loss of a brother or a sister can feel like a huge part of oneself is missing. Their shared experiences and memories, and siblings are often a person that someone confides in. Although we don't know about the relationship Effie had with her brother, nor do we even know his name, but what we do know is he was killed in a robbery gone wrong. Whether that's something we've seen before in Power is yet to be seen. But with Season 3 set to focus on Effie's backstory, this is one where I'd connect her history to the present day.
What's up?
It's Tariq's girlfriend.
Yeah, I am thinking you was a girl.
I'm no one's girl. Okay, let's start there. I'm a woman, first of all.
Now, if I were a writer for Power, I'd definitely use this small plot hole to expose someone in Ghost being behind Effie's brother's death. For example, Kane Tejada. Kane is someone who sometimes acts before he thinks, and that's led to the death of Jabari and Ramirez, leaving a lot of consequences for other family members to pick up. He's also a character who isn't afraid to hit a lick or two, as we've all seen, and sometimes things don't always go to plan, as we all know. So could Effie's brother have been involved with Kane? Could he have possibly behind the kill, or even had some sort of hand to play? This is something that would spice up and change the dynamics between Effie and Kane, raising the stakes that much more. On one hand, we'd have Tariq dealing with the betrayal from those close to him, and on the other hand, we would have Effie having to deal with learning the real truth behind her brother's death. We've also learned that Tariq and Effie are very much alike, and if Tariq took it into his own hands to avenge his sister, I wouldn't be surprised to see Effie doing the same for her brother, although I do think Effie is in trouble, just like Kane in season 3, and I will explore some theories later on. Now, dealing with a drunk mother can often be difficult and challenging for many reasons. There's emotional distress at seeing a loved one struggling with alcohol, which causes difficulty in communication and unpredictable behavior. And then there's the difficulty of trying to help someone who may not want to be helped. So it can often even leave people feeling helpless. It even leaves you feeling somewhat responsible. But it all stems from her brother's death, although we do get some insight into her relationship with her parents in Ghost season 2.
My parents? Let's just say they leave me alone and I leave them alone. I'm good on my own.
Let's just say I leave them alone and they leave me alone. I'm good on my own. So it doesn't seem like she has much of a relationship with her parents. She doesn't come from a privileged background and she's always had to make her own way. In Power, Tariq made reference to her having to work at the bookstore, phone screens cracked, and how she wore old shoes, and she admitted she wasn't as lucky as he is. The only reason why she was in the game was because she had to be. It was the only way to survive. In contrast, Tariq came from a privileged background where he could have had whatever he wanted. So will we learn more about Effie's parents along with her brother? I definitely think so. Now, one of the biggest unanswered questions in relation to Effie is, who was she working for? And is this a question that will be answered in season 3? Especially now that there's a gap in the market. They need a new connect, but Effie's connect hasn't replied in a while.
I mean, I don't really need your cash, but a new connect could definitely help. You got one?
I'm sorry, is your room bugged? Your connect got better shit than my old guy and he stopped answering his phone a while back, so I don't know.
This is the first and last time we heard about Effie's connect in Ghost since Power. And again, a plot hole and storyline they can definitely exploit, but without too much information, it really is difficult to come up with any theories with who her connect could have been. So let's just park this for now, but no doubt, one which we'll come back round to at some point. So with that being said, let's move on to Effie's relationship with Tariq. Tariq and Effie's relationship is highly complex to say the least. We have two characters who are very similar in so many ways. They've been through heartbreak and suffered loss of loved ones, and they're both in the game and know what it needs to be done in difficult circumstances. It's also why Tariq approached Effie for advice in Ghost season 1, but they do have their differences.
Tariq, you guys can trust me.
Me and that boy trust a little bit differently. Get the fuck in the car.
No, please.
This is one of the key differences between Tariq and Effie. They trust differently. So with that being said, Courtney Kemp gave us a bit of insight and detail into her taking out Lauren. The intention with Effie's storyline is that Effie is making a double move and she's conflicted. What was her motivation to go to Kane about Lauren? In terms of her character development, she is conflicted. She doesn't want to play with herself and be that girl. She wants to do what she wants. What is best for the whole team is that Lauren goes down. Lauren is a snitch. She got Kane and Brayden on a wire, but Tariq doesn't want that. Effie's point of view is clear. Tariq has real feelings for Lauren. And let's just say, Effie is definitely feeling that jealousy.
It's about Lauren. And all that girl ever wanted was straight A's and a nice boyfriend. Now she's like my mother all over again, having to run because of my shit.
It's the right thing to do, but perhaps the wrong reason. So Effie is in a complicated frame, trying to do what's best. She doesn't believe that Lauren has Tariq's best interests. Lauren was doing what was best for Lauren. Now let's add some even more background and context, because this is what Alex Lepre, who plays Effie, said on her relationship with Tariq in season 3. Not particularly the best. I think it is going to be like, Tasha, I've just lost the love of my life. Like back in OG Power days.
He's loving this shit. You know that, Tasha. That I'm living with this. That the woman I love is gone.
Yeah, I feel really bad about that.
Tasha, look. Hey. I know I'm asking a lot of you, okay? But just imagine how I feel for a moment. He shot her in front of me. The last thing she says is my fucking name.
It is always about...
So this is what the situation is going to be like. He's just lost somebody that he really, really loves. He's having a hard time dealing with her death. Effie is someone that he can confide in, and he does love Effie too, but it is tough, because it's very hard to love and mourn at the same time. This is where we refer back to the synopsis. Business is booming, when a staggering reveal forces Tariq to reckon with a betrayal from those closest to him. It tells us that Tariq's relationship with Effie will be highly problematic. Tariq cared deeply about Lauren, and when he finds out Effie played a part in her death, he's gonna feel this deep sense of betrayal, especially because he opened up to Effie and told her she's the only one he can trust. But what will hurt even more is, this is the second time she's gone behind his back. And so what have we learned about both Effie and Tariq? Both are very similar in the sense they act in their best interest when push comes to shove. And in Ghost Season 3, what do you guys think will happen if either of them had no choice but to turn on one another to save themselves or their family? So with that being said, and with the backstory and foundation being set, let's dive deep into some thoughts and theories for Ghost Season 3. In the teaser for Ghost Season 3, we see Effie running from what seems to be law enforcement, and we know in Season 3, there's going to be mounting pressure from DEA, and Blanca Rodriguez especially. Now we don't know what happens after, we can only speculate. So what happens if Effie is caught and she's got her back against the wall while she's being questioned? From history, we know law enforcement will use any means necessary to strong-arm criminals into working for them. So is it beyond reasonable doubt to think the same could happen with Effie? Why not? Especially if she finds out Kane was potentially behind her brother's death, or they could even potentially use her mom to strong-arm her. So can we rule out Effie working with law enforcement? I don't think so, but she is also very aware of how the game works, and if she does, then she'd only be digging her own grave. So that brings me on to the theory, is Effie's life in danger? Could she be potentially a major death in Ghost Season 3? Now I personally hope not, but we also have to be realistic, and if we were to look at patterns and trends across Power and Ghost, we only see characters being built up through their backstory and events playing out in the season, but then in a blink of an eye, being destroyed, and we only have to look at Mecca as a recent example. So let's look at this in chess terms. At this moment in time, Effie is Tariq's queen, but the role of a queen is to protect the king, and sometimes to protect the king, you have to sacrifice your queen. So could we see Tariq having no choice but to sacrifice Effie, potentially having to kill her himself? Tariq having no choice but to save and protect himself by getting rid of his queen. Because we all know Tariq, he only kills when he has to, so if he does, he's gonna have a very good reason for taking out Effie. Now elsewhere with Effie, there are a few things to keep in mind. Effie's moving closer to Tariq by moving to Stansfield, so expect Effie to be deeper in the game with Tariq, but also being deeper with the Tejadas. We also saw her building a bit of a bond and relationship with Diana. We saw Effie teaching her how to hustle and do what she does, but again, a relationship which will no doubt be complicated by the fact Effie's now seeing Tariq, something she warned Diana against, although it does seem like Diana may have a new love interest herself. But regardless, I wouldn't be surprised to see these two clash once again. And I definitely stick by what I've been saying. The dynamic and relationship between Effie and Kane is one to keep an eye on. So with that being said, the questions we need answering for Effie is her backstory in relation to her parents, her brother, and her connect, how her relationship with Tariq will turn upside down, and when the betrayal comes to light, will Effie survive? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section on the inside story of Effie Morales. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 2 Ghost and Power Universe related. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.